Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for this practice to improve your strength, increase courage, and conviction. So we're going to start in Tadasana, mountain pose. Place your feet about hip distance apart, fairly parallel. You might lift your toes, spread your toes, and lower them back down. Ground down into your feet. Lengthen through your spine as you press down into all four corners of your feet. Feel your legs activate. Lift your inner arches as you hug your outer ankles in. Take the front of your thighs gently back as you ground your sits bones towards the earth. Lengthen the sides of your waist and invite a sense of openness across your upper chest, widening these two front points of your shoulders away from each other. Lift your chin as you gently lengthen the back of your neck. Root down into the earth through your feet as you rise up energetically through the crown of your head. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Arms fairly straight, palms towards the front. And notice how this feels. Imagine you're energetically sending roots down into the earth like tree roots. Notice the stability here in this pose. And then relax. So step wide on your mat, maybe about 2.5, 3 feet wide. Turn your heels in, toes out, and bend your knees. Make sure your knees are tracking in the same line as your toes. You can either have your hands on your legs or close to your hips, or you might bring your hands together at your heart in Anjali Mudra. Press into your feet. You decide how deep you go here. And we're going to find a little bit of movement. Inhale, reach your arms out and up, coming off your knee bend. And then exhale, hands touch, rebend your knees, come back into Goddess. Press your hands gently together if you have your hands at your heart. Inhale again, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, hands come down to your heart. And then open your arms into fierce Goddess. Elbows are bent, palms forward. Feel your legs working here. Ground into your feet. So appreciate your body's strength and inner resilience. If you need to come up out of this pose sooner, that's totally fine. Take another breath here. And then as you inhale, 5-pointed star, slowly straighten your legs, expand your arms out. You might lift your gaze, stretching and expanding your energy in 5 directions, maybe lifting your heart slightly. Maybe lift the corners of your mouth up towards your ears. Breathe here. And then parallel your feet. Lower your arms, palms towards the earth. Heel toe, come back into Tadasana and pause. Notice sensation. Notice your legs and hips. And then take another wide stance on your mat. Feet parallel, about 3 feet wide, or whatever makes sense to you. And then lift your right toes, turning them away from you, and bend your right knee. Adjust your back heel slightly back, and make sure that you feel stable here. Make sure that your hips also are at a little bit of an angle, about 45 degrees. You don't want your hips parallel to the long side of your mat. Double check that front knee that is just about over your ankle and in line with your second or third toe. Shoulders just about over your hips. And then bring your arms up about shoulder height and gaze softly over your front fingertips. Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Round into your feet. Activate those legs. You can think of pressing into the front foot, maybe even the front big toe as you ground into the outer edge of the back heel and also the outer edge of the back foot. And then isometrically drawing your feet towards each other so you feel those inner adductors engage, and invite a little bit of openness across your heart as you keep your arms active and finding that balance of steadiness and ease here in this pose. Appreciating your body's strength, no matter how deep you are in the pose. And notice how you can maybe increase your conviction and encourage your courage as you stand and breathe here in Warrior Two, embodying your inner warrior. You might even say to yourself, I am strong. I am resilient. I am courageous. And then turn the front palm up. Relax your left hand on your back leg. Keep your front hip and knee position in the same spot. And then inhale, reverse your warrior. Maybe looking straight up or straight ahead, whichever makes sense to you. Legs stay in the same position. Breathe here. On your next inhale, come back up into Warrior Two. And then bring your hands to your hips and tip your hips forward until the front fingertips are sort of getting squeezed in your front hip crease. So you're tipping your hips so that there's a nice line from the crown of your head to your back heel. Spine is long, right side body is long, and bring that right arm onto the front thigh. If you've tipped your hips enough, it'll just be there right in that right spot. So you want to avoid that sort of curving of the spine here. Keep length along your right side as well as the left. And then that left arm might come up alongside that top ear, externally rotating it. So the palm of your left hand is going towards the wall behind you. Breathe here. Engage your core. Legs are active and strong. I know we've been here for a little bit. Isometrically, slightly drawing your legs or your feet towards each other. You might look down, you could look straight ahead, or you might lift your gaze towards that top hand. On your next inhale, straighten that front leg, come all the way up. Pause here. And then turn your right toes in, lower your arms, heel toe, and step back into your Tadasana. Notice sensation. Notice how one side might feel a little different than the other. And then take another wide stance on your mat, and we'll do the other side. Again, start with your feet parallel. Lift your left toes, turning them towards the short end of your mat, and bend your left knee. Take that right heel back slightly. Again, double check that front knee is over your ankle. Hips and shoulders just about in alignment, and the hips are angled at about 45 degrees. Ground into the outer edge of the back heel, press into the front foot. Engage those legs isometrically, drawing your feet towards each other so those adductors, inner thighs are working. And then open your arms up about shoulder height and gaze softly over your front fingertips. Arms are strong, they're not limp and loose like noodles. Got some engagement in those arms. And again, embodying your inner warrior. Invite a sense of openness across your heart and appreciate your inner strength and resilience. Warrior two poses are great for increasing our conviction, building strength, and resilience. Again, you might repeat to yourself an affirmation: I am strong. I am resilient. Whatever affirmation you would like to embody. And just expressing your inner warrior here in Virabhadrasana 2. You can make it more challenging by having a deeper pose. You might toe heel the back foot back a little bit. Or if you want to make it less challenging, you might heel toe the back foot up a little closer. You can also sort of scooch the front foot forward if you want to deepen your pose. Couple more breaths here. Gaze softly over those front fingertips. Appreciating your inner strength and resilience, even if you're shaking or wobbling a little bit. And then relax your back arm on your back leg, turn your front palm up, keep the same position in your front knee and hip, and reverse your warrior. Choose your gaze. Enjoy that stretch along your left side. On your next inhale, come back up, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Bring your hands to your hip crease. Tip those hips so you'll feel those front fingers at the hip crease getting a nice little hug there. And then that left arm comes to your front thigh. Keep that length along your left side body. Right arm alongside that top ear or whatever makes sense to you. Externally rotating that arm if it's by your top ear so the palm is facing behind you. Legs are active, spine is long. Engage your core. Appreciate your strength here. Choose your gaze. You might look down, straight ahead, or lift your gaze up. Extended side angle, Utthita Parshvakonasana. One more breath here. And then on your next inhale, come all the way up. Straighten that front leg. Turn the left toes in, lower your arms. Heel, toe, step back into Tadasana and pause. So notice sensation, notice your breath. And then we're going to make a transition down onto our mat. Come into table pose initially, and then tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Lengthen through your spine. Down dog should feel pretty good after all those warriors. Nice full breath. Any movement here that feels good to you. And then when you're ready, lower your knees and come into a child's pose and rest. Support your head if it doesn't quite make it to the mat. And breathe here. You can always use your hands or a prop to support your head. So you can either stay in child's pose for a few breaths or make your way into a shavasana. Listen to your body and find what you need. Or you might come up to a seat, maybe sitting on a blanket or another prop, and just pause. Notice how you feel. If you're laying down, invite your whole body to relax and release. If you'd like to stay in child's pose for another few minutes, that's totally fine. Or in a meditative seat. Just be aware of how you're feeling. And we'll be here for just a few more breaths. And if you're laying down, you can always stay there longer if you would like. If you're in child's pose, slowly make your way back up to a seat. If you're laying down, you might transition over to one side first, and then eventually bring yourself back up to a seat. Notice how you feel. And with appreciation for your inner strength and resilience, bring your hands together at your heart in Anjali Mudra. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, you are stronger than you know. You are courageous, resilient, and can do whatever you set your mind to. Thank you. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the mat.